Good afternoon. I'm here this afternoon to address concerns about the incident that happened at Wisdom High School. First of all, my name is Chief Pete Lopez. I'm Chief of Police for HISD. Here with me we have Commander Barbosa, who's going to give a statement in Spanish after the conference. And I also have Commander Tran, who's of Patrol Operations, and Commander Gardner, who's of Investigations. Yesterday, one of our students was involved in an off-campus incident with HPD, which involved the shooting, where one suspect was shot and two other suspects were arrested. So a total of 3 suspects were arrested. I don't have any specific details of that incident, but I refer you to HPD if you have any questions about that. But shortly thereafter, one of the suspects in the vehicle fled on foot and was picked up by a citizen who took the student to Wisdom High School, where he was actually a Wisdom High School incident. I just want to clarify a misconception. The student that flagged down the citizen after the incident with HPD is a student at HISD, Wisdom High School, and he did not enter the campus through a side door or anything like that. He followed visitor management procedures, and video captures the student walking up to the front entrance of the school, trying to scan in. He waited outside with 2 other persons who we don't know who they are. They were other visitors to the campus, and campus administration buzzed him in. He went to the front office, signed in, talked to one of the counselors or one of the staff administrators, and then he went inside the school into the auditorium with the rest of his classmates. So it's not correct that he entered the school through a side door or through an open door. That's not correct. Video surveillance systems capture him walking up to the school, entering the school, and following the proper visitor management protocols. As soon as it happened, the HPD officer called the officer that worked Wisdom High School via the phone and informed them that possibly a suspect that was armed was entering our campus. Our officer immediately followed emergency protocols and locked down the school, called for more resources, and HPD, Precinct 6, and other HISD officers showed up, secured the school, and started searching the auditorium for the suspect. We figured out that the suspect was in the auditorium with other students. So we were able to take the suspect into custody without incident. He was an 18-year-old male, current student. I'm not going to release his name because it's an active HPD investigation. We also conducted a sweep of the auditorium and the gymnasium where the students were at after hours, and we didn't find any other weapons. Again, the student did not enter the building through a side door or any other entrance. He came in through the front door. They buzzed him in, and they followed the proper visitor management protocols. The staff did an amazing job. Thank you for HPD and Precinct 5 and HFD for being out there and helping us secure the scene and arrest the suspect. And thank God it went without any incidents. So now I'm going to open it up to any questions you may have.
So it's inaccurate to say he snuck in. He didn't sneak in. He scanned in like a regular student.
Correct. He followed the proper, like the video surveillance clearly captures him walking up to the front entrance, waiting at the front door because he can't get in because that entrance is secure. He buzzed in, and then he went into the office area and signed in like most students do.
Do you know if you guys arrested a different student for a little briefly because they kind of were dressed the same, looked the same, and then later released him? I understand there was like another student who was, there was 3 students who are, there was 3 people who were charged obviously with the HPD incident, but I thought there was another student that was.
No, there were 3 students. There was 3 persons arrested. One was shot at the scene. One was arrested at the scene with HPD, and he was the 3rd suspect. He was arrested at the school, so I'm not aware of any other student that was arrested.
Like detained briefly or anything like that?
No, I'm not aware of that, no.
So Chief, what is the protocol, though, when a student comes back into school later on in the day, not at the beginning of the day, when a student comes back to school, are they searched for weapons? Do they have to go through a metal detector or anything like that? What is to prevent a student from bringing a gun back into school?
Wisdom High School currently doesn't have a metal detectors. That's something that we're probably going to address with the bond issue coming next year. So the proper protocols like he followed, he buzzed in, signed in, and went to his class. So the students are not searched when they come in any HIZ property, except for Harper DAP, and they have metal detectors at that school.
So to be clear, students are never searched for weapons when they're entering their own school?
Correct.
If a visitor enters the school, they have to go through what procedure?
The same procedure as the students. They have to buzz in, sign in, show identification that they belong there, who are they going to visit. They're escorted to the area where they're going to visit, and then they're escorted off property again, but they're not searched.
Did the student start his day at the school and left, and then came back?
Correct. Principal Brantley stated that he saw the student on campus in the morning, and then obviously he left the campus and returned.
Were any of the other people arrested yesterday
I don't have any details. I don't know the names of the other 2 people that were arrested.
Okay, because the HPD has provided them, if we give you those names and dates of birth, can you run them and tell us if they were also?
Part of our protocol is not to release any student information, so you have to rely on HPD's information.
No, we have that information. We're just trying to find out if these other suspects are also HISD students.
You can provide that question to our communications team. They go
One more
into that.
question. We were told that the school did not issue a lockdown until approximately an hour after HPD officers had arrived at the scene. Is that true or false?
That's false. As soon as the
Can you give
HISD
us
officer.
the timeline of like when the lockdown happened, when they notified, when parents got call out, things like that?
Video surveillance, I'm gonna refer the timeline for the call-outs to the communications teams after the conference, so I don't have that timeline. But video surveillance captures the student coming in at 12:34. Shortly thereafter, the HPD officer who works Midwest called the officer on his cell phone and told him, hey, we got a suspect that possibly went on the campus with a gun, and that's when the HISD officer and the campus administration initiated the lockdown. I don't have that time right now, but I certainly could get you that.
Can you give an idea, though, how soon after the guy, can you give us an idea of how soon after the student entered the school it was a lockdown issue?
I don't have that information. I don't want to speculate. I don't have the information right now, but we could provide that to you later through our communications team.
But you're saying very shortly
Yeah,
after,
very shortly after.
Houston police contacted the school saying, we've got a possible suspect in the school?
Correct. HPD and HISD officers have a good working relationship, and the Midwest officer contacted the Officer Green, who works at HISD in the Wisdom High School, via phone and told them what's going on.
And what led to that phone call? Were the suspects wearing some kind of school or ID or had baggage on them or something, baggage?
I don't know. I recall one of the HPD officers talking about they interviewed the suspect at the scene, the second suspect, the one that wasn't shot, and he may have given information, but that's just pure speculation.
And the weapon, did you all recover a weapon on campus?
No, we did not recover a weapon on campus.
Not in or outside of campus?
No, we searched the perimeter of the schools, and we also searched the interior of the school and didn't recover any weapons.
You've interviewed the students, some of the witnesses that were at that auditorium. Did any of the students report seeing this suspect with a gun?
No, HPD conducted the interview, so they have those details. It was an HPD case because it occurred off campus, so the ones that conducted the interview. It'd be best to ask them that question. I don't have the details.
We're gonna have 2 more questions, please.
Chief, there's a lot of concerns about.
Talk about what happened at Sutton Elementary. I believe there was a teacher and questions about inappropriate relationships and whatnot with other.
That's the active investigation. I can't comment on that right now.
Chief, can you talk to us? I have 2 things. One is the concern we've gotten from parents is not that you guys didn't have a lockdown, but that you had a lockdown happen, but they didn't know. There's a lag in time
Right.
of when parents were notified or when
Right.
the call out or the email or text message. However, do you know when you guys actually had the lockdown in school versus the time lag?
The communications team has prepared a correspondence, and they're going to pass that out to the media later on to share the timeline with you.
And then my other question is, there was an incident that happened at Meyerland Middle School today involving a child with a possible weapon or an incident like that happened today. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, can you talk to us about that, what happened there?
It wasn't a weapon.
Right, but
Right.
it looked like one, so can you
Yes,
talk to us
yeah,
about that?
we initiated this.
We have a call out that we need to say concerning that.
I understand, but
We're
the
here to
chief is
discuss
here.
the incident
Can you
we
talk to us
discussed.
about the BB gun that was located at Meyerland Middle School?
I'm gonna have to refer that to the communications team. They're gonna push out a call out the information, but it wasn't a weapon. We investigated it, and everything was under control.